Hey everyone, Steven here from Vervatos, and welcome back to another fragrance review. And today we're going to be taking a look at a fragrance by John Varvatos, and the fragrance is called Star USA. So here's the bottle. This one was released in September of 2011, and the perfumer for this fragrance is Rodrigo Flores Rouge of Givaudan. Now, Givaudan is a very popular company, one of the leading companies right ahead of Firmenich and IFF, and they have worked in collaboration with Elizabeth Arden to produce this scent. Now, Rodrigo Flores Rouge, I believe, is the in-house perfumer for John Varvatos. I believe he's made all of the scents behind me. He's also made a bunch of scents for Arquise. He has made 3 fragrances, to my knowledge, for Tom Ford, part of the private blend line. I know 2 of which are Fleur de Chine, which is part of the Atelier d'Orient collection. The other one is the iconic and classic Neroli Portofino. So he certainly has quite an extensive catalog for himself, both in the designer branch and in the niche branch of the industry. Now, this was part of a new collection called the Star USA collection. Now, this was released 4 years ago. They have not released another fragrance part of this collection, so wonder what happened there. But of course, the popular fragrances from the John Varvatos brand are the ones that you can see behind me, like Vintage and Artisan Aqua, even though some are more loved than others, but that's besides the point. So this fragrance is classified as a woody aromatic, and it contains an ingredient that, or a molecule rather, that was developed by Givaudan called Bel Ambre, which is supposed to give this fragrance a unique smell. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So whereas the other fragrances in the John Varvatos brand are made for like the stylish, more elegant, older gentleman, this is made for a younger, urban, more contemporary man who dresses unconventionally. So I'm going to let you know what I think of the smell. Next up, let's take a look at the presentation. The box for this fragrance has a really nice texture to it. You have the John Varvatos writing here in the front, Star USA, name of the fragrance, size and concentration at the bottom. Like I said, really nice texture to it. Ingredients here on the back, you have the UPC code and the serial number right below that, and then you have the John Varvatos logo here at the very top. So that's it as far as the box goes. As far as the bottle goes, here it is. You have a really cool cap here. Really nice design on the cap. It is a spring-loaded cap, so you undo it by pushing it forward and it kind of throws it back. The only problem is that it's really hard for you to get your finger around it so you can spray it. So what I end up doing is bringing it all the way to the very bottom, and the distribution on the sprayer is very narrow, very poor distribution. You do have John Varvatos embossed here on the front, which I actually really nice. I think it's really nice. Sticker at the bottom with the size and concentration, and it's kind of hard to get the cap back on sometimes. You have to get it in the right position. Yeah, so yeah, this is a pain. There we go, finally did it. And then you have the top, which is supposed to resemble an old subway token, and that was the presentation for Star USA by John Varvatos. So let me start off by saying that this fragrance actually has a pretty interesting note breakdown. It has citron, you have Venezuelan tonka bean, you have Laos ginger, you have woodsy notes, an assortment of woodsy notes, you have spruce and osmanthus, and there are just a lot of really interesting notes, and of course this one molecule produced by Givaudan called Bel Ambre, which I was really interested in trying out. You know, maybe, you know, it would bring something unique or novel or different to the table. Unfortunately, I do have to say, and I have to say this in full disclosure and retain my full honesty in saying that this is a very uninteresting scent for me. Now, that's not to say that you won't like it. You know, you might smell it, you might say, wow, this is actually kind of decent, but, you know, to my nose, there was really nothing about this fragrance that's groundbreaking or even interesting, to say the least. When you look at the marketing of the scent, they mention how this was supposed to be a thought-provoking scent that would encourage one to think deeper. It actually did make me think deeper. Like, why would John Varvatos do something like this? I mean, I know they're working in collaboration with Elizabeth Arden. We may place the blame on that, but the note breakdown is partially accurate to what it smells like. It opens up with a very unilateral, kind of a bland, banal, mundane type of a citrus note. Unfortunately, it just has a citrusy facet that is evocative of just a citrus quality that you would find in any citrus note. I know it contains citron, but it doesn't smell like citron or bergamot or orange or grapefruit. It just smells a little sparkling and effervescent, kind of chemically, if I can even go ahead and use that term. And this citrus, as refreshing as it might be in the opening, lasts for a few seconds, and then what you're left with is actually a ginger note that smells kind of nice. Now, is it as nice as Dior Homme Sport? No, not at all. It's miles away. Is it as pronounced as Burberry Sport Ice for men? No, not at all. It's just kind of like a nice little ginger that you get in there for, I want to say, 10 minutes after the citrus dries down. And then in the very dry down, you're left with a very manufactured, chemically smelling, woodsy base. Very generic from start to finish. There's really nothing about this scent that really makes me want to reach for it and wear it with any degree of frequency. This is just a fragrance that they just put out there to, I guess, kind of grab the attention of unsuspecting consumers, but it's not good. It's really not good. And I love giving objective reviews, but this is a fragrance where, you know, as a consumer, I really have to caution you. Please do a side-by-side with other fragrances. There are far more, way better, more interesting fragrances out there. I think this is a great scent to spray in your shower, like right before you take a shower. You turn on the hot water, you let it run, and the entire bathroom smells, you know, nice. You know, this is a nice fragrance to spray maybe in your car, spray it around the house. You know, I actually, you know, that's really the only use that I put to it, other than on my skin for testing purposes for this review. But other than that, you know, I don't think I'm going to be wearing this again. I bought it at TJ Maxx for $10, and even at $10, I kind of feel like I overpaid. And that's for the big size. That's for the 100 milliliter bottle. You know, I think I can see what they were doing with it. You know, they wanted to target a younger consumer, more urban consumer, and I definitely think they were heading in the right direction, but I think they gave up on this one a little bit too prematurely. It does smell a little bit too rushed, and as far as that molecule Bel Ambre, I don't get it. You know, I don't smell anything in here. Maybe I don't have a trained nose, but I don't pick up anything that smells really unique, that's different, that, you know, I would smell in the store and I'm like, man, this is so novel and new to my collection, this warrants a purchase. No, you know, I never felt that about it. So, you may like it. Is it offensive? No, not at all. Might you get a compliment with it? Yeah, you might. Is anybody going to get offended by it? No. So, you know, I mean, it does have practical wearability, but it's just so uninteresting. I don't think you'd want to wear it. So, anyway, sorry about that, but I just had to share my honest opinion with you guys. So thank you for watching. Last up we have the rating. First up we have uniqueness and overall smell, and I ended up giving Star USA a 2 out of 10. Now I know that seems a little bit harsh, and like I said, it does have practical wearability. Fixatives were not used successfully as far as the quality of the composition goes, and the performance is very poor, so that's an indication that, you know, the right ingredients were not used, or they weren't used in combination with one another to the effect that they would produce a superior perfume, and this one just did not do it for me. Now, it is inoffensive. I can see somebody potentially getting compliments with it, but it's just very uninteresting. You know, I just have to use that word for it. It doesn't deliver. Next up we have longevity. This was a 3 out of 10. I actually get 1 to 2 hours with this. I was generous because I did apply it one day after I moisturized, and I kind of got like 3 hours from it, but the longevity on this one is really bad, which for an eau de toilette concentration is very poor, very weak. As far as projection goes, same thing, 3 out of 10. I might as well give it a 2 out of 10. It projected for about a half hour after initial application, and then it sits really close to the skin. I want to say radiates off your body about a foot, and then it does start to sit very close to the skin. I was holding I usually spray it on the back of my hand, and I was holding my hand just a few inches away from my nose, and I couldn't smell it. Meanwhile, on the other hand, I was wearing a different fragrance, and I had it down by my lap, and I was perfectly able to smell that one. So the projection is very poor for this one. As far as versatility goes, I gave it a 6 out of 10. Now, I think this would work well in the summer. In the winter, forget it. You know, you're going to be wasting an application. I think as far as occasions go, it's only casual. I think this one is more on the masculine side because of that woodsy base that it possesses. And I think as far as age range, I would probably, anybody can wear it, I suppose. Probably a younger consumer, you know, what they were aiming for in the marketing. As far as presentation goes, I think the presentation is actually kind of cool. I think that The cap does get in the way of the sprayer. I ended up giving it a 7 out of 10 for that. And overall, I'm going to give this scent a 2 out of 10. I really, was not a huge fan of this one. I'm not saying, it's a bad fragrance, but, I think you may like it. I definitely sample it before you buy it, but my personal experience, thousands of fragrances that I've smelled, hundreds that I have in my collection, this is not one that I want to reach for. There's nothing unique about it. The performance is very poor. It doesn't smell intriguing. Yeah, it's a pleasant scent, but even then, it's more like an air freshener. I wouldn't want to really put this one on my skin. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry if you like this scent, but I just had to be honest about it. If you own or have tried Star USA by John Varvatos, please let me know what you think by leaving a comment down below. Also, please don't forget to rate and subscribe for future videos. So again guys, thank you very much for watching. This has been Steven with another fragrance review from Versatility. I'll see you soon.